Ariel Helwani in Dallas for WrestleMania 38, alongside one of the stars of the weekend, the one and only, the incomparable, the often imitated, never duplicated Sami Zayn, who of course goes up against Johnny Knoxville this weekend. The pride also of Laval, Quebec, Canada. My fellow Montrealer, my fellow Quebecois. How are you, Sami?
Great. Thank you very much.
This is a bucket list for me to meet you, a fellow Montrealer doing big things on a big stage. Well done to you. Congrats on all the success you've had throughout your career.
Appreciate that very much. It was a very warm introduction.
Oh, we're Canadian. We did. Of all the moments, of all the feuds, of all the matches, the platforms, would you say this has been sort of the pinnacle so far, considering who Johnny is? You've done a lot of great things, but the stage, the opponent, where would you rank this feud that you've had the last few months?
It depends on what metrics you're using to judge it by. I think
heart.
I don't know. It's pretty big, there's no question. But I think so. Last year's WrestleMania obviously was it was Kevin Owens and myself, so that's
that was hard.
Yeah, on the personal side of it, I'm like, we did it, right?
Yeah.
But I guess on a media level, for sure, or an outside intrigue level, for sure, Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania is a very, very big deal. And also from a creative standpoint, I think this is one of the most stimulating things I've ever done, because he's not a normal wrestler, so you don't build the story in the way you would with a normal wrestler. He's not even a normal celebrity, actually. So you're doing really outside the box things to promote the match and get to the match. So I've actually had a lot of fun creatively in the process, even though some of it has been torture, like him giving my phone number out over the city of Los Angeles and all that. I don't want to get my blood boiling now, but it's been arduous, but also very rewarding creatively.
Can I pay you the ultimate compliment? It almost feels like a 2022 version of Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler. You've heard this?
Yeah,
I'm not the first? Okay.
And I love Andy Kaufman, actually. And it's funny because when I did the red carpet premiere, that definitely felt like my Andy Kaufman moment.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I was the wrestler and Andy Kaufman at the same time.
Yes.
Which is funny because you would think, Andy was the celebrity.
Right.
So, and I think actually doing that in particular, really, I think I got bit by the acting. But I think over the last year or two, developing this character and acting and promos and just really putting more into the character work has really kind of started to rekindle my already existing love for acting. But now after that especially, I was like, man, I think I want to act a little bit. Or like, I liked it. I got really high off that. The whole red carpet thing. Actually what it was I got high off the blurring of the lines. Of people being there and not knowing what they were watching was so intoxicating to me.
Oh, yes.
Like even now I'm getting, look at that, that's wild.
Wow,
I'm getting so excited just thinking about that. And even the thing with the phone number on the airplane, getting calls from total, like, who is this? What do you mean, who is this? You called me. I don't know, I just saw your phone number flying over Marina Del Rey and it said to call you, so I'm calling you. So just blurring these lines between what's real, what's not real, what's a work, what's not a work, all these things, it's just so, it's so creatively stimulating.
Sometimes when you have these celebrity matches, the celeb kind of goes halfway. It feels like he's gone, like full in, like he's really enjoying this, Rumble, all that stuff. Have you been impressed with how dedicated he's been to this?
Yeah, it's almost to a psychotic level. So, he'll go on my Instagram and he'll fight with fans in the comment section.
Amazing.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? He's filming a TV show now.
Right.
Aren't you busy? He's like getting in the mud with trolls. He's a troll. He's trolling me. It's crazy. So that's a different kind of level of commitment that even doing something with Logan Paul, who's a social media guy.
Right.
He's not doing that. He's not getting into bickering with fans. So he's crazy. He's Johnny Knoxville. He's crazy.
Feels like a great compliment, though, that they keep putting you in these spots with these guys who are coming in from another world. Feels to me like they trust you to be able to adapt to them, to put them over, to work with them. That feels like a great compliment from the office.
I would hope so. Yeah, I would think so.
You view it that way, right?
To an extent, yeah. Well, so I think when I try to really have a handle on my ego, but there are times when I'm pumping myself, I'm like, not everyone can do this.
Yes.
And that's the thing, is like, you can't just throw anybody into this. Even this thing, I was just talking about it, this little 2-3 week thing I did with Brock Lesnar a few months back.
Yeah.
I still get asked about it a lot, so it obviously struck a chord with people. But one of the great feelings of pride I had when it was done, I was like, not everybody could do that. It wouldn't work with anybody else. That exact promo, if you couldn't plug and play another character into the position, it had to be me for Brock to act that way. Any other bad guy or any other good guy, he would have had to behave a little differently. He could only act exactly that way with me. And so that's where I was like, me, I'm so special. And that's when the ego is doing this thing, right? Where like, it had to be me, it had to be, it was perfect because it was me. This nasty little monster inside of me that that has to exist a little bit.
Right.
But you also got to be like, hey, take it easy, you know? All this to say, I do, the sense of pride that comes in there when you're talking about them putting me in with these guys is the thing that makes me feel appreciated or valued in that respect is that I don't think everybody could do it.
100%.
Or it wouldn't work the same way with anybody else. And that's what you go for. You want to be a unique character.
Is there any chance, before it's all said and done here in WWE, that El Generico makes a return?
You have to ask him. I have no idea.
Okay.
From my understanding, he's still in an orphanage in Tijuana. But if I had to guess, I think he's hung it up. If I had to guess. And that's just, because I get asked sometimes about El Generico. I don't know why people think I'm the, anyways, it's all right. They ask me about him, or they ask me about even early NXT Sami Zayn, or the underdog and that fighting spirit and all this, and when's that, we want to see that guy back. You had that guy.
Yeah.
Go back and watch tapes, you know what I mean? Like, it's like it just wouldn't be the same now. You can get a different version of it, but you can't get the same thing. It just doesn't work. It would be like, I use this analogy, it's really not a good analogy, but if the Beatles were all alive now, and they came back, like it wouldn't, and they're playing their songs from the 60s, it's like, it's not the same. It worked in that time and that place very specifically. Things exist that are a product of the time and place they exist in. So when you try to recreate lightning in a bottle, because that's kind of what all this stuff was, right? Like lightning in a bottle. When you try to recreate it, it's just not the same. Appreciate it for what it was when it was. And yeah, you could kind of bring it back, but you have to do it different. But you can't recreate it. It's over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and I'm not trying to say that in a callous sort of way, like, you had your fun, get out of here now. I don't mean it like that. I mean, it was special because of where and when it happened. And if it came back now, I don't know if it would be as special or if it would work the same. Actually, it wouldn't be the same. It might work, but it wouldn't be the same.
Fair.
That's all I'm saying.
Dare I say, one night at the Bell Center, maybe a house show, would be nice to see him back. But alas, we don't know.
Look, I have an extreme fondness for the man. I'm very, very sentimental about any time it comes up. I'm very sentimental. It really is a different person. Very sentimental. It's not like something like, oh, that was then, and
Right.
It's out of love and protection that I want him to stay in Tijuana. You know what I'm saying? Don't come out and get bastardized or get, a watered down version or tarnish the memory of what it was. You're precious, you're perfect, you stay there in that little corner.
Last question.
Yeah.
You recently re-signed with the company.
Yeah.
This was big news. This has now become a thing where people are wondering who's going where, Forbidden Door, all that stuff. Were you close to looking at other options? Was this ever, a doubt?
I mean, it didn't get that far.
Okay.
Of course, I was curious as my time was starting to come up on my contract, like, this is different. Because I've actually never had a contract even come close to expiring in WWE. They've always adjusted it or fixed it, which is wonderful of the company. Yeah. They take care of you, really. They'll bump you up and all that thing. If you've moved up from where you were when you signed, they take care of you. Like, hey, we signed you and you were here, but now you're here. We're gonna adjust that. So I've never even come close to having a contract expire. And this was the first time, A, a contract was expiring. B, I now had a lot of equity because I've had a lot of television time. C, there was another place to go. So it was the first time where I was thinking, what's gonna happen? It used to always just be not even a thought. Right. Just stay. And it was the first time where there was even the remote possibility of examining options. But I have not been shy about this, and I've been having a ball here the last couple of years. And to your point, talking about them putting me in with celebrities or this sense of trust, I feel appreciated, and I feel valued, and I feel trusted, and I feel all these things. And it was a lot of the people that have ran to the competition, the first chance they got, it's because they didn't get that. That's a hard, on some level, I'm talking about that ego monster. I think we all have that, but we're also like on a level almost like children who just want to be valued and appreciated and told we're good. And when you don't get that as a performer, you know, it hurts. But I've been pretty lucky to feel valued and happy here. So it wasn't, there wasn't a whole lot of thought, and it kind of got nipped in the bud before it even went to that level.
Okay.
The company came to me and they were explicit in saying, we like you, we want to keep you, let's make this work. So it never got to the point of, well, let me see what they have, let me see. It never got that far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that. Congrats on all that you have done. On a personal note, a great source of pride to see a Montrealer doing big things on an international stage. You represent
you're doing okay too.
Well, I appreciate
world
that.
Of fighting and all that, right?
But you're doing awesome stuff, and you represent the province and the city and the country in such a great manner. I wish we had more time. What you do for the people in Syria is a fantastic thing as well. So much respect to you and good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much.